Travelers Rest United Methodist Church is the church on the trail, walking with Christ, serving God, and changing lives. Who would have thought 125 years ago, when we were founded by a small group of faithful Methodists, that we would be the church we are today, a vibrant, growing congregation in the heart of a vibrant, growing city? Well, I think our founders may have had an inkling. Now, I'm sure they never envisioned the Swamp Rabbit Trail and all the growth it's brought to TR. But I think they assumed that our church would still be trailing Christ 125 years later. We are a church that believes that trailing Christ, following Him where He calls us to go, walking in His footsteps, and doing what He calls us to do, it's not a solo activity. We walk with Christ, serve God, and change lives together. We are companions on the journey. As the hymn says, we will walk with each other. We will walk hand in hand, and together we'll spread the news that God is in our land. Together we grow. Together we serve. Together we walk. Together we give. Together we build. We began visioning a few years ago, asking where God was leading us as a church family. One of the audacious goals we felt God calling us to do is to build a new education building that will modernize our educational and administrative space and allow us to minister to the community through more gathering and meeting areas. The current plans are to demolish the existing education building, move the chapel to the north in a more prominent location on our campus, and build a completely new education building in the space between the sanctuary and the Family Life Center. Ultimately, we also want to reach out to the community through an additional building that will one day house a child development ministry. We have grown so much together these past few years, both in discipleship and congregational size, and we need our buildings to keep up with us. While we do believe that church is not a building, we believe that we are the church together, and we need to be outside of its walls loving others as Christ does. We also need a facility that can safely and effectively house our children, youth, and adults as we learn about the love God has for us and for the world.
Well, one of the things I love about the church are the people and what they've meant to all of us here, especially my family growing up. When we were first joined, there was only the chapel and the education building, and I have to thank all those people, older and younger, who felt that we always need to look forward to the future and be part of something new and good, to always be thinking of our kids, who will hopefully be here long after we're gone.
Our current education building was lovingly built by church members in 1964. It has served us well, but the past 5 decades have taken their toll. Water damage to many of the classrooms, as well as the courtyard and chapel building, crumbling ceilings and steps, and outdated restroom facilities are just some of our issues. Accessibility is also a problem. Our folks with mobility concerns have an extremely hard time getting from the sanctuary to the education building and other parts of our campus due to the outdated structure. TRUMC has a history of coming together to build when there is a need. A small group of faithful disciples built and paid for the chapel in 1893. Members of the church paid for and built the education building in 1964. A larger group of the church body funded the building of the new sanctuary, which is our current sanctuary, and bell tower in 1987. Then in 2003, the church came together again to fund the building of the Family Life Center, which was recently paid off ahead of schedule. At this wonderful point in our church's history, as we continue to grow along with our city, we have faith and trust that we as a church family will once again come together to fund this next exciting stage in TRUMC's journey of walking with Christ, serving God, and changing lives.
As we look to the future, we want to continue to grow here with our church family, welcome others in the community, and make this a place where everyone wants to be.
I've been coming to this church for 89 years. My great-grandfather and grandmother gave the property for this church. And to see the church grow, and I've watched all the buildings being built, and I can't wait to see what else we're going to do next.
The success of the Together campaign depends on each of us making gifts that are over and above our current level of giving. The process of deciding what amount to commit, it's exciting because we know we are contributing to God's work. But it's also challenging because of the sacrifice it will require of all of us. But if we all come together to contribute, what might seem impossible to us is possible with God.